Welcome to this week's Who the Folk podcast. I'm Lonnie Goldsmith, the editor of TC Jewfolk. This week we talk to actor, teacher, and all-around wandering spirit Avi Aharoni. Avi is starring in the upcoming Minnesota Jewish Theater Company world premiere of Shul, which opens on April 27th to close the theater's 2018-19 season. Avi and I talk about what drew him to theater, traveling the world, and his love for all things Israel on this week's Who the Folk podcast. Avi Aharoni, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast this week.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I'm so excited.
So in the immediate term, first of all, you are an actor.
Yes.
You are also a teacher.
Yes.
In the interest of full disclosure, you are my daughter's fourth grade teacher at Talmud Torah Minneapolis. So this is a whole different interaction between us.
Yes.
And you are an actor. You are starring in Shul at the Minnesota Jewish Theater Company. It opens late April and rehearsals get underway April 1st, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
today,
yeah.
as some of you might be listening to this.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. I mean, I've had the script in my possession for a couple months now. The director, Robert Dorfman, sent it to me a while ago, and it's so well written, and the cast is incredible. So I'm so excited to get in the room and start playing with it.
Have you acted with any of the other performers before or in shows around town?
Yeah, actually, Charles Numerick is in it, and he played my father in the last Minnesota Jewish Theater show I did last spring. I grew my beard out for 8 months, and I played a Hasidic man.
Really?
In New York. The show is called Natasha and the Coat.
Okay.
And Charles was my father. So I love that man so much.
So you could have gone like full stage makeup and had like the beard put on, but you decided to go to immerse yourself.
Well, I mean, yeah, I had by the time I'd gotten cast to that show, I only had one show in between. So I had a feeling I could like slip by with a beard in that show, because I'm like, yeah, it's probably not a big deal. And I did, luckily. And then, so for me, I was like, I don't want to wear a fake beard. I knew I would have to wear a fake peyote.
Okay.
Regardless.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought a fake beard. It was a challenge to myself. I've never done a beard for 8 months.
Really?
So yeah, and that was the first time.
A certain level of authenticity to that too when you go that route.
Oh, and a certain level of itchiness too. So I mean, I had so much beard oil and beard brushes. I was just combing it every day.
The maintenance, I've heard, I couldn't pull off a beard like that, but I've heard the maintenance that goes into it is significant.
I have so much respect for bearded men now. So much more respect, because I don't know if I could do it again.
So this show is if I'm correct, it's a world premiere show, right?
Yeah.
So is there any added extra pressure on not just you as an actor, but Robert as the director and the cast in a whole when it takes something like that on? Or had you not thought about it till just the second when I mentioned?
You just added that added pressure. I didn't even think of that.
Excellent.
To me, I guess I don't feel the pressure just because, I'll go back to it. Robert at the helm directing it, and the cast was like, just the cast is so good. Yeah. And I don't see how it. There's no way we won't do it justice. You know, that pressure might be there for. I can't speak for Robert. He's directing it, but I'm just excited. But now you got in my head. So now there's going to be a lot awful. No. No pressure at all. You'll be fine. Yeah.
So.
Oh God. Oh no.
So you mentioned this is your second show at the MJTC. Mm-hmm. What is it about the theater company as a whole, or the types of shows that they put on, that make you interested in wanting to come back to audition for their shows?
Good question. And I love that question. I think it's something I noticed when I did Natasha and the Coat. Because I've worked with, there are different theater companies around town, and you kind of go from show to show or job to job, if you're lucky, right? If you're lucky to get cast. But I think MJTC was the first and only company I've worked for that I felt like a guest in a home, because in the best way possible. Like, I was accepted and invited in, and because the board members and the audience from MJTC is so devoted to this company, and people audience members would be like, welcome to the company. And it'd be like, wow, like it's a beautiful feeling to be accepted into this theater company you don't usually get. And I felt very, it was very warm. It was very warm entrance into this company.
And you being younger, and being your first time there, I'm sure are season ticket holders and other showgoers there who have been there far longer than you've been acting, period. Let alone, I mean, it certainly predates your entrance to the company. So I think it's got to make you feel comfortable and at ease.
Yeah.
When you get that sort of welcome from the patrons. Yeah,
I think so. And I think it has to do with, it's nothing, nothing against other theater companies. Sure. Everybody has their loveliness to them. But there's something about this Jewish community in a theater setting where this hospitality, and I think you're right. It's people like who really, Barbara being the artistic director, but just all these board members I've met, to the benefit I went to in the spring. It's these people who just like, hey, who accept you in and then congratulate you for the work.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Certainly, if there were any nerves, I would imagine that had to sort of make you feel settled in.
Oh, yeah, totally. Especially after, because I was pretty nervous for that show in terms of the work that we put in and just the undertaking that it was. But, yeah, it was a very nice, accepting, warm community to come into. So when did you start acting? What got you interested in that as a field? I remember distinctly I was in 6th grade at the Minneapolis Jewish Day School.
Okay.
It was not called Heiligture at that time.
Oh, sure.
It was before. And I had friends who did like the musical theater summer camp in the JCC,
sure.
and they were doing like some spring, fall. It was a long time ago when the theater was like having a lot of child productions. And I just remember being in 6th grade being like, psh, I could do that. so
the confidence.
I know. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why. I don't know why my 6th grade brain thought I could, but I signed up for musical theater summer camp that following summer, and just from the first show, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm on stage now for my life. That
was it.
I never. It was weird. I just didn't question it at that time. I was just like, yeah. And I then from there just tried to. I signed up for every musical theater summer camp every summer, through middle school and high school, and then tried to set up for all the shows in the Jewish Community Center, and then high school, and then I tried to, and then started branching out.
So, what was that first show?
Oh God. Oh, I hope he doesn't listen. It was a new script,
okay,
written by the director, who I'm still who I've grown up with, and I'm now good friends with.
Okay,
because he's seen me growing up, and I've lived with him a couple times when I've had nowhere to live, and it's like he's really helped me out as a good mentor. But it was a show he wrote. It was called The Bug, and fun. Okay, this is how I explain The Bug. I don't know how much you'll have to cut out, but I remember I did it, and my mom afterwards was like, wow, Avi, great job, great show. And I played an orphan. I wasn't really anything. I was a background orphan. But the following year, I remember watching a VHS tape of it and going to my mom and being like, Mom, that show was really bad. And she's like, yeah, I lied to you, Avi.
as only parents can do.
Yeah, seriously. And hey, if she didn't lie to me, where would I be now?
True.
That's
true. So in terms
Faithful.
of... Yes. So after, so you go through high school. Did you do theater in college also?
I actually didn't go to college.
Okay.
I was in high school, and I remember getting my first professional job in high school, in the theater community.
Sure.
I was a junior. I was 16. Got my first, and I was like, wow, professional. So, and I got a couple more before graduating. And I remember my senior year being like, oh, I don't know what else I'd go for, but do I want to take out $100,000 in loans? I mean, I had this foresight when I was 18, being like, that's so much money, and it is theater. How do you pay for it? And I don't want to be someone who graduates with loans and debt and pays them off till I'm 40 and just feeds into this capitalist system. Not to get deep, but I'm sorry.
That's a whole different episode.
Yeah, that's a whole episode of my views on the education system in this country. But so I just was like, look, I'm going to graduate and I'll try to just do it.
Okay.
So I graduated. I tried community college for a little bit after, but mostly that time was for me to like audition and get my name out, work with small companies and do a show at the bowling alley, do a show at like, great places in town like Bryant Lake Bowl or Theater Garage or like these places, and just try to get my name out there, and did that for a couple of years until I started traveling.
So did you travel for travel's sake, or did you travel for theater jobs? What were you looking for?
I mean, I've done both.
Okay.
I've worked with a company that I went around the country doing like shows for elementary school kids.
Okay.
And so we got in a car and would just drive from state to state. And that was that was a great job for the time it was. I did the summer after I graduated high school, I was part of a show that toured to England, which was pretty great.
Whoa.
Yeah. But when I was 21, I was confused, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? I don't have a degree. Everybody's getting these degrees, but I'm doing theater. And I was like, I'm going to move to Israel. So I have an Israeli passport, and I was picked up, and I got a year visa. Well, Israeli passport. I did a deferral from the army so that I wouldn't get drafted, and then moved to Israel for a year, and that sparked my love of new cultures and new foods and traveling. So from there I came back, saved up some money for a couple months. That's when I worked with that traveling theater company. Then I moved to New Zealand for a while. So in Israel I did work with a theater company. But when I moved to New Zealand, that was just for fun. So I was there for a year doing construction. I don't know.
I suppose you got to make money somehow.
Exactly. And because of the earthquakes, there was some good construction money there.
Okay.
And then from there, I was just backpacking Southeast Asia and a little bit of Europe and Eurasia. Like, I was just trying to see a lot. I had a goal of hitting 30 countries by the time I was 30.
Did you?
I did not. I think I got to like 16 because when I came back here, I had many years after traveling. I had a job based out of Israel that was helping me continue to travel, which is great. And I came back to Minnesota just for summer, and I was going to go back in the fall to continue this job. It was a dream job. Yeah. But when I was here this summer, I got offered a theater show with a dream company that was performing at the Guthrie. Ooh. And it was this huge decision. I'm like, this dream job that takes me around the world, or this dream company at a big, for exposure, big theater and I miss theater, So I quit my job abroad and I stayed, and that's when I was like, great, now let's see what I can do.
So how long have you been? So now you're back. You're in Minnesota. Yes. You're settled back home.
That's it. And after all that, sorry, that was a long tangent.
That's okay.
I'm back here. I mean, I miss traveling all the time. Yeah. And I still go back to Israel yearly to visit family. Okay. And visit my friends and my old life there. Okay. But yeah, I'm here because the theater community here and the art and the music and the show, everything. We have so much going on in Minneapolis.
So you mentioned. So do you have? Is one of your parents from Israel? Is that you? So you mentioned the Israeli passport. I figured there's some familial connection.
Yeah, my dad was born in Iran and grew up in Israel.
Oh, okay.
He moved to Israel in the 50s.
Okay.
And then my mom was actually born and raised in Rochester.
Oh, okay.
And in her 30s, she just picked up and made Aliyah. She didn't know English. She didn't know anybody. She was like,
didn't know Hebrew.
Didn't know, yeah. It'd be weird if she didn't know English. Rochester's a weird place. She didn't know Hebrew. She visited, and she's like, great, I want to live here. So she made Aliyah and met my dad there. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Do you think maybe that's where some of clearly you have a bit of a wandering spirit, which I think is awesome, but is that where some of that comes from? There's definitely a familial connection to seeing what's out there?
Oh yeah, I think it's weird because the older I get, the more I realize I'm more like my mom every day. I think it's that wandering spirit that my mom did, I think, and still currently does, has that free spirit that like, this idea of like, this is what I want, I'm going to make it happen. My mom has that, So yeah, I think that wandering spirit idea is from her. She ruined my life, Mom. In case she's listening.
I hope she does.
I do too.
Listen, I'm counting on people's moms to listen to this. So.
I have so many Jewish mothers. So just you wait.
Excellent. Good. We need it for the listenership. It's good.
Okay, good.
So just part of the just wanting to teach, I mentioned Talmud Torah earlier. You do some shifts here at Bethel. We're sitting in the learning center here at Bethel. Help out in the Olive School. Does that sort of help keep your connection to Israel and Judaism and Jewish, sort of connection that you clearly have? Does that keep that sort of alive in a way?
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny because teaching was never something that like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a teacher. But all through my teenage years, everybody would tell me, oh, Avi, you'd be a great teacher. When the acting thing doesn't work out, you should. I'm just kidding.
It's good that people had such confidence.
I know, right? Yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah, but I've always worked with kids. Okay. I mean, I got my first job when I was 16 working with children. Okay. And so other than that year in New Zealand, even when I lived in Israel, every job I've had has been with kids in some capacity. Okay. And it allows me to have close ties to this community and that culture, and to Israel being here. Mm-hmm. I can teach about this country that I really love, especially Talmud Torah on Sundays. Sure. Like I love Israel, and I can, hopefully show that passion and preschool. I mean, it is just a tight-knit community where people support and love and, have each other's backs, really, the Jewish community.
So were you born in Minnesota or were you born in Israel when your parents were?
It's a shame. I was born here.
Okay.
Yeah, my long story short, my dad had 4 kids from his first wife. Okay. And then they had my older brother in Israel. Okay. And they couldn't support monetarily 5 kids, so they had to come back here, and that's when I was a whoops. I'm just kidding. I wasn't a whoops. I wasn't. I'm just my mom's going to hate that one.
He's kidding, seriously.
He's just seriously kidding. Wink.
Anyway. Thank you for saying wink, because as this is an audio medium, I know, right? Actually winking, it doesn't play. It doesn't play. All right. Well, last couple questions, and we'll let you out of here. Your favorite Jewish holiday?
Oh. In which country? In Israel or here?
Oh, because you spend so much time there, I'm gonna let you I'll let you get away with both.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll do the okay.
In whichever order you want to take them.
Yeah, I think. Oh man. Well, okay. As a kid, obviously Hanukkah. I think that's pretty common, just because we had to compete with Christianity, and we had to compete with they get Christmas, we get presents too. That's what it is. But that's kind of a common answer. But in Israel, Purim is the best holiday. Purim in Israel, I mean, I've lived in Jerusalem and I've lived in Tel Aviv, over 2 different. Purim is just full of street parties, and everyone's in costumes for literally 3 weeks. 3 weeks leading up to Purim, the streets, the sidewalks are filled with people in costumes. You go out dancing, drinking, and it's just parties every weekend up for multiple weeks in costume.
Wow.
I know, and the streets are just filled. It's great.
And that requires a certain level of creativity just with all the costumes you need to get through the 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lazy like me, I just wear one.
Oh no, that would be me too.
Yeah,
no worries. Yeah.
But I did know my roommate in Tel Aviv had a couple different costumes over Purim.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. It takes dedication. There's dedication to these costumes.
Clearly. And again, you can answer this for both countries. Favorite Jewish food?
Oh no! Oh man! Okay. I'll in Israel, either like just a terrible greasy shawarma.
Okay.
Or if you go to like a really solid hummusia, which are these like little restaurants, but they only have hummus.
Yeah.
So it's hot hummus that you get toppings with, and like everybody has their favorite hummusia in every city.
Okay.
And so like when I was, every time I've lived there, I've tried to find like a new good one.
Okay.
So like a hot bowl of like hummus with like the side of the veggies and the pickles, because I think to me that's just culturally Israel or culturally Middle Eastern, really.
Yeah.
Because different types of hummus, every culture has its. Every Middle Eastern country
does it?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you go in Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem has like you can get Arabic hummus, you can get Jewish hummus, Moroccan hummus. Like it's all hummus, but they all have different.
Which is your preference?
I think Arab hummus to me, like what I've had in the old city, the Arab hummus is like that top for me right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's a Jewish food in the States? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. Hamantashen are good.
I don't know. You think Jewish food in the States, I think like deli.
Yeah.
Bagel.
Like Cecil's. They should pay us for this podcast.
They should. I totally should.
Right? I just said Cecil's twice.
But don't say it anymore. No more free advertising.
No, that's it. Not till they pay.
No, that's right. Well, Avi Aharoni, thank you very much for joining us. The show, Shul, opens at the Minnesota Jewish Theater Company. We will have the link to tickets and more information in the show notes. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
So much fun. Thank you. This is great.
Thanks again to Avi for joining us. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and pretty much all other places you listen to podcasts. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next week.